So welcome to session 2. Got Lizzie on tech, who is now producing 25 of you at a time for me to enjoy. Great. Okay, so we'll start as usual with the meditation and go from there. So just sitting, maybe just savoring the fact that we have nothing to do right now and no one to be. Don't have to be a worker or a parent or indeed anyone at all. Just experience happening. Sounds happen. Sensations in the body happen. There's no need to engage with them. They come and they go. Thoughts and feelings happen. They come and they go. And when there's no pushing and pulling at our experience, letting it come and go, the tendency is for relaxation to happen. So now let's find or imagine that sense of downward movement of energy that comes with relaxation in the body. Follow it down to the ground. Follow it into the earth. As if the body is growing out of the earth, continuation of the earth. Like a mountain. Letting this mountain of the body take its full height, right up to the summit at the crown of the head. And above that, the vastness of the sky. Now feeling into all that's going on in what we call the body. If there's a sense of bringing awareness to the sensations and vibrations and movements, letting it be a very patient, caring, kindly awareness. Now aware of the breathing. Fully accepting and receiving, fully giving and sharing. Now focusing on the out-breath, following it into a sense of spaciousness. letting it lead into vast blue sky. Warm, serene, boundless. Now, out of the creativity of this vast blue sky, there's a great circle of soft, open lotuses made of light. Protecting our retreat, protecting us all with all the qualities of Avalokiteshvara. Beyond the ring of lotuses, the great wall of diamond thunderbolts. Made of light, made of energy, protecting us with all the qualities of Vajrapani. And beyond the Vajra wall, the great circle of flames, made of wisdom. Protecting us with all the qualities of Manjushri. And these 3 circles protect our bodhicitta mandala. Within which we're seated together, meeting together, practicing together. Joining forces to help ourselves, one another, and every last living being, with no exceptions. And we're all focused on the center of the mandala, which is the great treasury of awakened qualities. It appears in form for us as the Buddha, refuge tree, our yidam, whatever's most helpful, most encouraging, most delightful. And when you meet with awakened qualities, it's natural to want to express feeling through giving, through offering. So let's offer whatever feels right to us. Whatever feels as if it would be pleasing, whatever we want to give. And our offerings are also an expression of openness, of receptivity. So now we focus on the refuge. And from them come all the qualities of awakening. Maybe as light. With each in-breath, we take them in. We fully receive them. And during the out-breath, we relax into the sense of those qualities. And we're still going to keep on receiving more and more fully with each in-breath. With each out-breath now, let's share those qualities. Share them with all of us meditating together. Now, just for a little bit, let's widen out this practice that we're all engaged in together. So with the in-breath still drawing on all the love and wisdom and freedom and strength of the refuge. And with our collective out-breath, we share those qualities with the world. And now, we're going to let go of our entire visualization, to call it that, and just rest in open experience. And in our own words, in our own way, whatever that is, dedicating the merit, sharing the energy. So yesterday, we were still looking at the mandala offering. We explored things about punya, and we did meditation, giving awareness, and one giving dharma. And we talked a little bit about turning life into an offering. And yes, that sort of self-surrender way of practice. And then we started looking at Chöd, which incidentally is pronounced Chöd, it's often spelled Chöd. But the sound of it is a bit like the sound of something cutting through something. It's very sort of ch. And I've made available a bit of writing on, it's called Principles of Chöd. It should really be called Some Principles of Chöd. So you'll find it via the chat, but you'll also find a link to it on the website. Thanks to Lizzie's magic. Yes, so you can have that and look into that. So I outlined a bit about the Chöd practice, and it's one way of taking the Dharma into deeper levels of mind. One of the reasons for practices like sadhana, as I mentioned last night, is that the mind works in terms of deeper levels of mind don't really speak the language of concepts all that much. They really speak more the language of ritual and symbol. So if we're to engage the energies of those deep levels of mind and transform what we find on those levels, then practices like sadhana are really helpful. And in Chöd, we very much invite, we go to meet all kinds of forces and energies within mind, and whatever turns up as a result of our invitation is fed, is cared for, is completely satisfied. And the offerings are so extensive that whatever aspect has appeared is sort of satiated. Well, more than satis in Latin means enough, but satiated means like you've received completely enough. It's so yes, you have all these forces, or if you want to see them in terms of beings who are invited to this bodhicitta feast, and they come along and they get far more than they bargained for. Chöd, I mentioned, is done sometimes for healing, and it's also often done for healing environments. So places where bad things have happened, for instance. So at one point I was doing some Chöd on a 3-year retreat, and a little group of us went one day to a ruined tower in which some very bad things had happened during the Second World War. And the atmosphere in the tower was, I could hardly breathe in there. It wasn't that, it didn't have any fresh air, but the sort of psychic atmosphere was just, really painful. So in that situation, or perhaps in a place which has been very polluted, or somewhere where yeah, the environment has really been disturbed. There's been a lot of building work. Everything's been turned upside down. The trees have been uprooted. All those kinds of situations. Those are places where Chöd is often done. So you invite whatever beings, forces, energies are associated with that place to come to this bodhicitta feast. And so if you start feeling sensitively into what's going on, you can feel that there's quite a lot of resistance, just because this is a human being who's turned up, and they've had experience of human beings, thank you very much, and it wasn't very nice. The human beings have just kind of gone in and to some environment, and they've uprooted the trees, and they put this kind of concrete down, which is dead, and so on. So there's quite a lot of sense of, I don't think I want to have anything to do with them. But then practicing Chöd, you're just there to be of help, to be of service, to care. So, and what you offer, as I say, is whatever will completely satisfy. So yeah, it's a bit like sort of inviting people to a meal, and they're really not expecting very much at all. In fact, they're thinking that maybe they'd rather not come, and then they turn up and discover that they've just been given this complete banquet, and So yeah, the Chöd is a very rich kind of giving, and it all works on this sort of symbolic level, which affects deeper levels of mind, and it sort of draws in forces within mind that haven't been connected with the Dharma. As I say, sadhana in general can do that. So, there's one or two things I'd like to unpack, but we're kind of heading towards the tea break. So I'm going to just look at a couple of questions sort of provoked by this, talking about Chöd. And then we'll have a break, and then I'll explore the Chöd a little bit more. So the question I have here is, how can we understand the paradox of Chöd's letting go of attachment to the body, with Tsongkhapa's verses telling us to cherish our body as precious? How can we understand the paradox? On one side, Chöd is saying, well, just let go of the body. But the questioner says, let go of attachment to the body, with Tsongkhapa's verses telling us to cherish our body as precious. Well, so Tsongkhapa, you remember those verses. The human body at peace with itself is more precious than the rarest gem. So, in a way, I don't think there is a paradox, because as the questioner says, what we're letting go of isn't the body itself. We're letting go of attachment to the body. It's like when we let go of the body in the sixth element practice, the body is still there, but it's that sense that it's I and me and mine, and that I somehow have to hang on to it, that is what's dissolving away. So, it's the same in Chöd. We're letting go of the attachment. So much of our life, I have to say, probably more as we get older and the body doesn't quite function as well as we used to and needs more kind of maintenance and repair and looking after. A lot of our time and energy goes into looking after the body. We need bits, we need whole chunks of where we live, to look after the body. It has to have somewhere to lie down and sleep, and we have to have a whole room where we kind of prepare food for it to eat and drink. And We have to buy that kind of comfy sofa for it to sort of sit on, and all that, you know, it's all. And then we need all the clothes for it to wear, and, you know, it's got to cut its hair and, you know, do its nails and look after it in endless ways. You know, it takes so much time and preoccupation. That's even before we get to the basic things of, am I all right? Am I going to survive? You know, is the body going to last through the day? Yeah. So there's this mass of energy all going into it all. And with attachment, none of that happens in a free and easy kind of way. Yeah, we're sort of often dominated by the experience of the body and the senses. So that's what we're cutting with Chöd. Yeah. The body in itself is fantastic. The body, as Tsongkhapa says, you know, the human body at peace with itself is wonderful. It's kind of a miracle, really. And it's also the way, our vehicle for moving towards enlightenment and expressing love and compassion in the world. Yeah. So the issue is just the attachment. Yes, talking about generosity. There's a sutra, Mahayana Sutra, in a collection called the Ratnakuta, the Jewel Mountain. And there's a sutra called the Surata Paripricha, I think it's called. It's the sutra given by the Bodhisattva Surata. We have our own Surata living at Patmaloka, who quite a lot of you will know. And in this sutra, the Bodhisattva Surata, who's very advanced and realized and very well disciplined, comes upon a golden bell, which is incredibly valuable. So he finds this golden bell and he thinks, right, of course he doesn't think, well, that's great, you know, I'm made forever now and I can retire in luxury. He thinks, who can I give this to? So he's wondering, I could give it to this person or that person. So he thinks, he's in Savatthi. So he thinks, well, who's the poorest person in Savatthi? And he starts wondering aloud to people who discover that he's found this bell. You know, who should I give it to? Who's the poorest person in Savatthi? So word spreads, and various kind of people who feel like I'm the poorest person in Savatthi, they all start making a beeline for where he is, and they say, "Well, look, you know, I'm the poorest person in Savatthi. You could give me the bell." And Surata keeps going, no, sorry, no, not you, no, sorry, no. Who should I give it to? And finally he thinks, I know who the poorest person in Savatthi is. It's King Prasenajit. So, and people are going, you what? You feeling all right? I know it's hot today. If you've not had too much, no, you're all right, okay. So anyway, Surata goes off to King Prasenajit and presents him with this golden bell. And the king is a bit sort of taken aback because even he thinks, you know, I'm the richest person in Savatthi, I'm not the poorest. So he says, so why are you giving me this bell? And Surata says, well, because you're the person who is most completely unsatisfied. However much you're given, however much you get, however much you manage to lay hands on, still you feel empty. Still you feel like it's not enough. Still you feel like it's just not really fulfilling and satisfying you. Okay, so I wanted to give it to you because when we really look at what's important, you're the poorest person in Savatthi. Yeah, some people have got no money out there, but you know, they've got good hearts and they're fine, you know, so here it is for you. And Prasenajit is so shocked by this that he goes for refuge, and then the story goes on and the Buddha appears, and eventually Prasenajit divides his wealth into three, and he gives a third of it to the Sangha, and he gives a third of it to the poor, and the other third sort of goes into the state, I think, to, you know, look after everybody. Yeah, so poverty is about attachment, actually. Poverty is about, yeah, you can have as much as you want, but yeah, if you're attached to it, then it's like you haven't got it. You don't enjoy it because you're too busy holding on to it to ever enjoy it fully. Yeah, so it's the same with the body. It's not the it's the body itself can be a source of joy or misery, and it all depends on whether we're attached to it. And it's the attachment that we're taking apart. And when we take the attachment apart, then we fully can enjoy and appreciate the body, and it can also be really at the service of love and compassion. Okay, so well, that filled up the time until the tea break. So let's have 20 minutes and start again at 20 past. See you there. Enjoy your drink if you have one. So hello again. One or two empty rooms. Here we are. Good, good. Okay, so while we're waiting for one or two people to come in, I got asked what the source was for that story. So it's, I think if I remember rightly, it's the sutra spoken by Bodhisattva Surata, and it's in a book called A Treasury of Mahayana Sutras, edited by G.C. Chang, published by Princeton University a long time ago. Can't remember exactly when. Anyway, Liz is going to put that in the chat, and if you Google, I'm sure you'll find it.
We redid the principles.
And Vijayamala, who's also here, just reminded me that we've slightly updated the file about some principles of Chöd. Okay, so before the break, we were, that's right, we were with Surata in Savatthi and that golden bell, and that was provoked by that question about Chöd and the giving of the body and how that related to Tsongkhapa's, this precious human body, the human body at peace with itself is more precious than the rarest gem. And yes, that phrase, at peace with itself. The body is at peace with itself when mind isn't producing attachment, which affects it. Yeah, the difference in how the energy in the body flows between when we're attached, concerned, anxious about it, and when all that is absent, is really great. Okay, so what can I do in a few minutes? Maybe I just want to say something about last night I mentioned that the Chöd practice has two aspects to it. There's the wisdom aspect, which enables us to let go of attachment and we imagine awareness becoming free of any attachment to the body, and then it appears as a darkini, and then all the beings are invited, and there's this bodhicitta feast. And doing that repeatedly reduces the attachment to the body. And Bhante, in that chapter that we've been drawing on, he talks about this, and he says something like, the practice diminishes attachment to the body, and you see more and more clearly, and this is a quote, I think, that only the mind, in the sense of a pure and radiant reality, exists, whether or not it's realized in its darkini form.
Could you just repeat that, Vessantara? Sorry.
Yeah, I can, and we can try and get it in the chat at some point. So In fact, can I dictate this into the chat? Yeah? Oh. You see more and more clearly that only the mind, comma, in the sense of a pure and radiant reality, comma, exists, dash, whether or not it is realized in its darkening form. Full stop, end of quote. Thank you, Lizzie. Okay. So, yeah, quite a lot of the different practices that we do, they kind of are taking us into that realm. That's where the six element practice is leading. It's not just about diminishing attachment to the body. It's also opening us into seeing more and more clearly that only the mind, in the sense of a pure and radiant reality, exists. Although I'm sure Bhante didn't mean any of that quite literally. He certainly probably didn't mean the word exists literally, because for something to exist, it has to be some kind of entity that you can point at. And mind isn't that kind of an entity. Yeah. So, along with that, that view of mind as open and radiant, we also need the sense that it's empty and ungraspable, just like anything else. Yeah. Yeah, so whether we're practicing the six element practice or whether we take the metta bhavana so far that it goes into what Bhante calls objectless metta, sort of beyond which again is beyond those three circles of someone sending out metta, someone doing something called, sending metta to beings out there. Yeah, we can take the metta bhavana beyond those three circles. And when we go into the blue sky and sadhana, we're being invited into an awareness that that blue sky is a symbol for that pure and radiant reality of mind. So that's the wisdom aspect of things. And then Chöd moves into the bodhicitta feast, into the compassion aspect of things. I know it just there are times within the order where it seems as if we get a bit polarized between sort of the more wisdom and the more compassion or faith aspects of things. And it just seems a shame when that happens, because we really need both. If we want to take our raft or whatever it is we're going to use to get to the other shore, we have to both. If we've got something with a motor, we want to turn the engine on and be heading for the other shore. And we also need to be untying or cutting through whatever kind of holds us to this shore. So we need to be both sort of seeing through the views and assumptions that limit us, and devoted, impelled by compassion to move forwards. We need both. Otherwise, otherwise it's hard. Maybe you can sort of manage more with one or the other, because we all have our tendencies more in one direction or the other. But fundamentally, the whole practice is much more powerful when we bring the two together, whatever practice it is. So in Tonglen, you can focus on caring for living beings and sending out what they need. But if you haven't got a real sense of that mind training slogan about driving all blame into one, that the real cause of suffering is self-clinging, self-cherishing, then it's always a struggle, because you always feel as if in giving somehow you're losing, or you're neglecting yourself in some kind of way. So, but if we really explore that sense of a me that seems to somehow be at the center of our experience or behind our experience, having the experience, and we really don't find it, and we keep doing that until we're convinced, then that sense of it's either I give to me or I give to them, that sense of holding back from the practice dissolves, and then there's a real free energy flow. Or if we really look at that sense of a separation between me in here and everything else out there, and that dissolves away, then there's a natural energy flow. Then the giving is just wherever it's needed. There's none of that sort of polarizing. There's none of the tension between me and everything else. And so the wisdom helps the compassion and the generosity, but also the compassion and the generosity help the wisdom, because it's not as if there is a sort of real me that has to be somehow dismantled or taken apart, or a real kind of barrier between us and others that we somehow have to kind of take down, like the Berlin Wall. It's not there. It's just a way in which our mind functions, when we sort of focus in and have a sense of me at the center of things, or we feel sort of somehow separate and isolated. So when we're really kind of developing a flow of generosity, a flow of loving kindness, a flow of compassion, mind is very little, if at all, operating in terms of referring back to a sense of self, referring to a sense of separateness. So it's as if mind is becoming more and more habituated to functioning in a much better, truer way. So they both help one another. When we take down or see through the mistaken assumptions about life, that frees the energy and makes it easier for the compassion and the sharing to happen. And practicing compassion and sharing mean that there's less energy going into those mistaken assumptions. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. Any questions? Any issues? One or two big nods there. That's good.
Vessantara.
Hello.
Did you ask for comment?
Yeah.
Well, I just very much appreciate you encouraging us not to polarize. I see that's happening a lot in the world. I just very much appreciate you bringing that into our awareness. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, and that's something which, as a whole order, as a whole Buddhist movement, we can be offering to the world. More and more and more. And the deeper our practice goes, the more we'll dissolve away those disharmonies internally in ourselves, internally within the order, and the more effective we'll be at, setting up conditions for wider life. Anything else?
Hello. I have a question, Vessantara.
Rajni, hi.
Yes, hi. When we do the practice of creating the 3 circles of protection, how does that relate to our connection with the world? Because occasionally, not always, but it feels to me that I am and we are separating somewhat ourselves through this circle of protections. Is that what is intended, or is it just my interpretation?
The intention certainly isn't to separate us from the world in any deep sense. It's more like, I think there are a couple of things that are happening when we do that. One is that we're creating on a sort of inner, sort of deep mind level, we're creating a protected space within which the qualities of awakening can fully unfold. It seems to be quite a deep sort of psychic patterning almost, that you create a protected space and then you invoke into it positive qualities. On another level, there are times where we do withdraw from what's difficult and distracting in order to gather our resources, in order to, the phrase these days is come back stronger. We go on retreat for a while, and we turn off our phone and we say that we're going to be away and we're not going to be available. And that creates conditions within which we can go deeper, we can undistractedly follow helpful, positive threads of feeling and explore our experience. But we do that with the intention to come back. With the intention that we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're not just shutting out that nasty, unpleasant outside world, but we're resourcing ourselves in order to go and meet it more fully. So I think there's something of that involved. It's like, okay, we protect the mandala, and into it we invoke all the forces of awakening, and we interact with those and absorb those. But the aim is for the mandala to expand and expand and expand, and to include all beings. That's what we want. So there are times when we need protection, but the protection isn't finally shutting things out. It's like, from the Bodhisattva point of view, there may be somebody that you interact with where you just feel like you don't know how to help them at the moment. When you meet them, their energy just really impacts on you in a really unhelpful way. And so you maintain a distance from them, but you don't give up on them. You still include them in your metta, and from the Bodhisattva point of view, you make the wish that one day, they may find the Dharma and you may be able to help them. So it's a temporary thing. Does that help a bit? Yeah. You're muted.
Can I ask a question?
Yep. Where are we?
Satyanandi.
Oh, hi, Satyanandi.
It's about Chöd practice. So more often than not, I don't know what the deeper forces of my mind or of mind, let's say, or external, whatever, what they need and what will satisfy them. And I've tried doing Saltram Alione's thing where you sit and be part of the psyche and try and talk from them, and it doesn't work for me. My ordinary mind is just too controlling, and anyway, so I just wondered if you've got any words of wisdom in relation to that.
Well, I've always got some words. We'll set up for that, shall we? If you don't have a sense of what they need in the Chöd practice, you just give them. You can always feed them nectar. You always feed them this deathless nectar, this amrita. Yeah. So that whatever beings they are, it's like that pure, delightful experience of reality, of free, completely free experience. They all love that. But the other thing that you can do is you have a sense of well, it's like the image that is sometimes used is it's like you have somebody who turns up and for dinner and you don't know what to give them quite. You know, you don't know what they like to eat, you don't know what they're allergic to. So you go, okay, there's the fridge, you know, the door's open, there's all the cupboards, you know, just go and help yourself, you know, whatever you like, there it is, yeah, it's open. Yeah. So you just have that sense, yeah, that, all right, you don't need to know, but, you know, whatever they need, yeah, there it is, you know, please take, make yourself at home. Just like that.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, it'll be quick, Vilasini. Yes.
Yes, I'll try and be quick. I did something recently that turned out to be amazingly effective, but I'm not sure what it is about what I did. So that, because I want to do it again, obviously. But I formed an intention to try and catch myself early enough before I worked myself up into a very unfortunate situation or state of mind. And I formed the attention on the full moon night because full moon is important to me. And I went out to bow to the full moon, but it was very cloudy, and I had no idea where. I thought I knew where it was, so I did it all in that direction. Turned out not to be wrong, but maybe that doesn't matter. And after that sort of ceremony that I did, I started being able to notice the early signs of working myself up. Yeah. So that, I mean, like falling asleep in meditation when I don't want to. And I started to notice how my body falls asleep before my head drops. And as soon as my body, now it's happened on this retreat, as soon as I notice my body is falling asleep, I can stop myself because I don't wait until I am asleep, and that's too late. Right. Now, the next full moon is on the 30th. So, and if
you want to know whether to keep doing that?
Yes, if I can you know, if that sort of ceremonial
Mm.
vow
Mhm.
really is effective.
Mm.
Obviously, I want to keep finding ways to ceremoniously
Sure.
take vows.
Okay. Yeah, well, setting a really strong intention has a very powerful effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you make a vow of it, even, you know, it's like, or a real kind of promise to yourself, you know, that really, that's the really effective part of it. If you then sort of somehow put around it some ritual or something which, you know, gives it even more significance, and things like full moon, you know, it's a strong sort of symbol, which therefore sort of takes it all sort of deeper into levels of mind.
Yeah.
That combination, yeah, you know, and invoking the Buddha or your Yidam, you know, to witness that and all that would sort of add to it. But fundamentally, it's that strong, clear intention, you know, which you make under the best possible conditions. You know, that's what really does it.
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Because,
You're
I
welcome.
mean, this retreat has given me such a rich ways of making offerings.
Excellent.
So,
Well, we've got lots to do on the next full moon.
yes, indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's do a few minutes meditation just to finish off with. So particularly when we don't have very long to meditate, it's really helpful to sit with a sense that we have all the time in the world. When we have all the time in the world, there's no rush, no pressure. You can relax. Sense of spaciousness. well connected to the earth. In a comfortable upright posture. Awareness in the body. As we notice the feelings, sensations, movements, also noticing if we're making them our property. If we're referring them back to what they mean to me. If that's not happening, just let everything, well, there isn't anyone to let anything. Experience can just unfold. And if it feels like I'm having a pain in my shoulder, or I'm enjoying the feeling of energy in my legs, or whatever it is, we can either focus on the sensations, and notice how they come and go, uncontrollable. They don't know that they belong to us. Or we can explore, feel into that sense of me. The one that has the pain in the shoulder, or is enjoying the energy movement. Where is that exactly? What's this me made up of? Is there a me being aware of sensations? Or are there just aware sensations? And aware thoughts and feelings of a me. Now just sitting. Dedicating the merits to all beings. Okay. That session passed very quickly somehow. So Hope to see some of you for session 3, and in the last session, session 4. And for session 4, we'll try and get the whole Adhisthana tech team in, just so we can thank them all collectively. Okay, go well. See you later, I hope.